What's up, guys and gals? Hunter here from Ultimate Gaming, and today I wanted to share something that's been on my mind for a while. It has to do with Nintendo and a little company known as Rare. Now, I'm sure most of you know about Rare. They're owned by Microsoft currently, but of course that wasn't always the case. Back in the golden age of the Nintendo 64, Rare was a subsidiary for Nintendo, and they were under the name Rareware. If you've seen Rareware and Rare, it's the exact same company. They just underwent a name change after the Microsoft acquisition in 2002. And what I wanted to talk about today is the fact that Microsoft is abusing Rare in terms of, I don't want to say, let's not say abusing, let's say neglecting. It's neglecting Rare. Under Nintendo, Rare was a big name and a huge player in the game industry. Rareware meant something to gamers in the late 90s. Rare's been around since the 80s, and they made games, for the NES and everything, but it wasn't really until the Nintendo 64, I think, that it really became a huge, a household name, really. Rare became something that everyone knew and everyone loved, thanks to games like Banjo-Kazooie, Donkey Kong 64, Perfect Dark, Jet Force Gemini, Diddy Kong Racing, all of these games developed by Rare. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend to be a business major, or pretend that I know everything, or pretend that I'm a master of economics even, but I think one of the smartest moves Nintendo could make today would be to buy back Rare. Now, before you start commenting and saying things that I already know about, let me tell you, I am fully aware that the team from back in the day, the Nintendo 64 team of Rare, left. In fact, a lot of them left Rare when the acquisition happened. A lot of them didn't want to work under Microsoft, so many people left then. I'm fully aware that a majority of the team no longer is with Rare. Having said that, there is a team, this is a little bit unrelated, there is a team of the N64 Rareware team. How do I word this? The team that worked on games on the Nintendo 64 under Rare have now started a new studio under the name Playtonic Games. I'm actually going to have a link below to their Facebook and to their Twitter. And in a few days, they're actually starting a Kickstarter for a spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie. Keep in mind, this is the same team that worked on Banjo-Kazooie back in the day. It's the exact same people. They don't have rights to the Banjo name, obviously, so they want to make something similar. So they plan on making a spiritual successor, and that Kickstarter is starting in a couple days. I'll share that with you guys as it comes out. So anyway, as I was saying before, Rare made Nintendo much more popular for it. I mean, Nintendo was already popular, obviously, but Rare helped Nintendo's popularity even more. They had tons of hits on the Nintendo 64, and before the acquisition, Rare was set to make several sequels to already popular games for the Nintendo GameCube. Diddy Kong Racing had a sequel set. Actually, they had two sequels set. They had one for the GameCube, which was canceled. It was going to be Donkey Kong Racing. That got canceled. And then there was another game. There was going to be Diddy Kong Pilot. That got reworked and eventually became Banjo Pilot. So if you ever played Banjo Pilot, that originally started out as a spin-off to Diddy Kong Racing. Anyway, Nintendo had a lot of things going for it with Rare. And I don't see why they shouldn't buy Rare. Now, granted, they wouldn't receive everything by buying Rare back. They would not get Killer Instinct back. Killer Instinct did start on the Super Nintendo, then to the Nintendo 64, also Rare. But today it is no longer under Rare. It is actually under a different studio. The name escapes me right now, but they are stuck under Microsoft. So at this point, if Nintendo were to buy Rare, it would simply be for things like Banjo, perhaps Conker. I believe Conker is under Rare. But if you look at the games that Rare made under Nintendo, Banjo, Perfect Dark, Conquer, Diddy Kong Racing, all these games, very versatile games. Not all the same genre exactly, but they all shared a similar vision of high quality gaming. If you go back to Rare and look at the games they did at the time, some were considered revolutionary, but even then they were almost all considered hits and widely popular and well made. Look at the games they make now. And granted, from what I understand, a lot of this isn't through Rare necessarily is Rare's fault, but is actually through Microsoft. Because Rare has pitched multiple ideas to Microsoft for various game ideas, and Microsoft just shuts it down one after another after another. And so they're stuck, and Microsoft wanted Rare to make kiddie games, essentially, just kid-friendly games, which they did make on the N64, but where Microsoft's catch was they wanted Rare to develop these games for the Kinect. So it's really a shame, because if you go back 10, 15 years ago and ask people, what do you think of Rare? You would hear all about, the awesome games they made for Nintendo 64. Nowadays, you hear Rare, and the first thing that comes to mind is Kinect Sports. Microsoft, listen. No one wants Kinect Sports. Now, granted, you did try to make a Banjo-Kazooie game with Rare. Obviously, to many people, it's seen as a failure and a huge flop and not the true quote-unquote Banjo 3E. So I have to give you some sort of an A for effort in trying to make a new Banjo game. But let's face it, it changed the formula. It was hated by most of the fans. Not everybody. Some people did enjoy it, but myself personally, I did not. And I know many others who didn't. But I really think that Microsoft needs to just give up Rare. Phil Spencer has taken over Xbox recently, and he seems like a really down-to-earth and chill guy. He seems like a gamer, and he seems to care about gaming first, and I have the utmost respect for that, and I think under his leadership, he's doing a much better job with it. But Phil, if you ever see this, I really, really would like you to think, is Microsoft really utilizing Rare? And if you answer that question and the answer happens to be no, you have two choices. You either need to learn to utilize the IPs you've been given, the IPs that your company bought and paid a lot of money for, or if you're not willing or able to utilize all these IPs that are slowly dying and rotting because they're not being used, they're not being utilized, go ahead and sell. Sell it to Nintendo. For the better good of gaming, sell to Nintendo. I know you don't want to hear that, because I know you guys bought Rare, and you're happy that you have all these IPs, but you're not using them at all. So Phil, please, if you ever see this, I want you to see this. As a matter of fact, everyone, tweet this video to Phil Spencer. We're going to make this an open letter to Phil Spencer. I'm not blaming Rare's acquisition on Phil Spencer. I'm not trying to say Phil Spencer's a bad guy. But I'm saying Phil needs to take a look at Xbox and say, what are our assets? What do we need to do to improve our gaming platform? And he needs to take a long, hard look at Rare. Look at what they were known for. Look at what they were capable of. And look at what they're doing now. Are they being utilized? Are they being used correctly? Absolutely not. Now, granted, on the other side, Playtonic Games is currently sort of an independent studio doing its own thing. We don't know anything about the game they're making. It's only named Project Yooka-Laylee. That's all the public knows right now about it. In 4 days, we'll have a Kickstarter for hopefully a full title game, and we'll know a lot more about it then. But granted, it is a spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie. So hopefully, Playtonic will look to Nintendo, and hopefully will try to publish it on the Wii U. That's my guess, and a lot of people's guess. But like I said, I will post that to the video description below. I will have the Facebook page and the Twitter page. But I really would like for Nintendo and Phil Spencer both to hear this message. Where does Rare need to go? Think about it. Nintendo, I know the internet thinks it's cool to hate Nintendo. I don't know why. It's cool to hate Nintendo for the things they never did wrong. Granted, they have their faults, absolutely. I'll admit, they do tons of things wrong. I missed my Greninja pre-order today, thanks Nintendo. But, all jokes aside, look at what Rare did under Nintendo. Look at what it does now under Microsoft. And look at the credibility that Rare has lost in today's age because of Microsoft. From what I understand in various interviews I've read through Grant Kirkhope and a few other Rare employees, former Rare employees I should say, it seemed like Rare was treated much better under Nintendo, and that's why a lot of people left. They weren't treated as fairly under Microsoft. Granted, times have changed. It's been 13 years since Rare was acquired by Microsoft. So Phil, again, this open letter to you, think long and hard about Rare. Now, there have been teases recently I've seen online of articles talking about how Rare is having... They were teasing how they're making a new game for this well-known IP. Is it Banjo? Is it Conker? Is it Perfect Dark? I have no idea what it is. But look at the last game that Rare tried to make for a big IP. Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts happened. So, we'll just have to see. Anyway, that's something that's been on my mind recently. About Nintendo trying to buy IPs. Like I said, I'm not a business major by any means. But I even had this discussion today with some friends. We were talking about Konami is now going under. Their stocks have now been removed from the market. Kojima left. All these games are getting canceled. So they were discussing, should Nintendo buy Konami? And that was a possibility too, because look at Castlevania. Castlevania started out on Nintendo, and now Castlevania could hang in limbo thanks to Konami. Look at Capcom. Look at Mega Man. Mega Man is a franchise beloved by thousands and thousands of people. It's not getting used. It's not being utilized. People everywhere want a new Mega Man game. Could Nintendo possibly be the reason it could come back? Could Nintendo buy Mega Man? Capcom did put their IPs out for sale. They are available for purchase right now. Nintendo has the money and the funds. Trust me, they just don't want to spend it. But I really think they should. So anyway, those are my thoughts. By all means, let me know what you guys think in the comments below about this. Like I said, I'm not a business major or a major in the economy, but it's something that's been on my mind. It's something I'm passionate about, and I think ultimately Nintendo should buy back Rare. But that's just my opinion. Feel free to share yours in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And again, please share this with Phil Spencer. By all means, tweet at Phil Spencer. Show him this video. Show him this open letter that I'm sending him about Rare. Send it to Nintendo even. Say, hey, we have an idea. We want to voice our opinion. So I'm not going to make official petition or anything like that. But I'm going to let the video speak for itself. I'm going to let this recording speak for itself. So by all means, view it, share it, show it to everyone that you want to see the greater good for the gaming community, and show what you think about Rare and Nintendo and how Microsoft has treated this beloved IP, former beloved studio. I apologize, not IP. And let's see what happens. Let's try to make a difference. I don't know if we will. Others have tried before us, but let's really try and see what we can accomplish together. So, thanks guys for watching. I know the channel's been dead for a little bit, but things are being worked on right now and worked through, and I hope to see you guys soon. So, thanks for watching and listening to my rant. I'll see you guys soon.